You ever look at an old photograph and just feel like there's more to the story? Well, you're right. Every single one of those faded images, every sepia-toned street corner is absolutely packed with hidden stories, and they're just waiting for someone to find them. See, every old photo really is a time capsule. But looking at it is one thing. Truly seeing it and unlocking the world that's frozen in that moment, that's something else entirely. So the big question is, how do we find the key?
Well, today we're going to do just that. We're putting on our detective hats. We're going to walk through a powerful toolkit that'll help you investigate any historical image and uncover the secrets that it's holding.
And the heart of this toolkit is a super simple but really effective four-step method called SCAN. That's S for scene, C for context, A for analysis, and N for narrative. Think of it as our roadmap for cracking the case.
Okay, let's dive in with the first letter, S. This is all about this scene. And here, our only job is to observe. That's it. We're not interpreting, we're not guessing, we're just gathering the raw evidence, just the facts.
What's so cool about this first step is how it forces you to just slow down. You know, we have this urge to immediately jump to conclusions, but this makes us start with the absolute basics of what's physically there. So you start by asking the simple stuff. Who's in this picture? Are they young, old? What kind of clothes are they wearing? And what are they actually doing? Are they posing? Are they working? Maybe celebrating? You just list what your eyes can confirm. Then you kind of zoom out. What's in the background? Are there any interesting tools or signs or buildings? And then zoom right back in on the people. What expressions can you see? Joy, seriousness, worry? Again, we're just sticking to the facts. And this quote right here, it's the perfect way to think about it. If you had to describe this image to someone over the phone, what details would you absolutely have to include so they could picture it? That's your goal here. All right, let's grab our next tool. Now we're moving on to C, and that stands for context. So we've gathered all our visual evidence. Now we need to place that evidence in time and space, kind of like a detective checking a suspect's alibi. This is the step that pushes us beyond the four corners of the photograph. With all those observations we just made, now it's time to do a little bit of digging. So we start asking the bigger questions. Do we know the year this was taken? The city? What was going on in the world then? You know, was there a war, a big social movement, a new technology popping up? This context is the backdrop that gives our whole scene meaning. Okay, we've got the scene, we've got the context. It's time for step 3, A for analysis. This is where our inner detective really starts to have some fun, reading between the lines and connecting the clues. This is the point where we finally get to ask that big question. Why? Why was this picture even taken in the first place? What's the deeper message that might be hiding right there in plain sight? So a huge piece of this is thinking about the person behind the camera. Was this just a casual family snapshot, a piece of journalism for a newspaper, or was it even propaganda? Thinking about who this was for, a private album versus a public newspaper, that changes everything about how we see the image. And here's where we can go even deeper. Does the photo tell us anything about the society it came from? Like who seems to have power in the image and who doesn't? And just as important, what or who was left out of the frame on purpose? Sometimes the biggest part of the story is what we can't see. This really is the heart of it all. Every single detail we notice way back in the scene step, the style of a coat, a sign in a shop window, the look on someone's face, it's not just a detail anymore. Now it's a clue that we can analyze. And that brings us to our final step, where we get to crack the case wide open. N stands for narrative. This is where we take everything, our observations, our context, our analysis, and we weave it all together into a story. So this is it. This is the big payoff for all our detective work. We're not just listing facts anymore. We're actually explaining what this photograph means, what its significance is. So you ask yourself, based on everything I've uncovered, what's the central story here? Does this one picture confirm what I thought I knew about this time in history, or does it maybe challenge it? This is where you finally get to write the caption that this photo truly deserves. So there you have it, the SCAN method. But let's be real. Why does this actually matter? Well, because learning to read a photograph isn't just about old pictures. It's about learning to read the past with a more critical and curious eye. And this isn't just some academic exercise. This skill goes way beyond the classroom. It's a way for you to connect more deeply with history, with the world around you, and yeah, even with your own personal stories. And hey, If you want to take your new detective skills to the next level, try some of these out. Compare 2 different photos of the same event and see what changes. Or try to get inside someone's head and write a diary entry from their perspective. You could even try connecting an old photo to something happening in the news today. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. The next time you open up an old family photo album, you're not just going to see familiar faces. You're going to see clues, you're going to see context, and you're going to see entire stories just waiting for you, the detective, to bring them to light. So, what stories are you going to find?